Welcome back to Andrew's Broad, and today we're going to talk about going on a tour of houses when you're here. So there's a lot of people that come to Mussomeli because of the advertising, the one houses for €1. And that's great. You get here, you see €1, and you're like, thanks. And then you go for something for €15,000 instead. Also, there's fees that go along with the €1 houses that, maybe you just would rather put that into your own house. So they do tours twice a week usually, and you'll with a group and you'll meet people from our group had Argentina and UK when we went. And so you meet in the piazza and then start walking around town, and she has a huge keychain with keys in it, and then
that's my favorite.
Right, and because she sounds like the sheep that ring bells. She sounds like
right.
Around like that.
But she has a giant backpack to carry all the keys.
And the keys, we found out subsequently, are divided by price range. So this is like the 10,000, or not dollar, but €10,000 keychain. This is a €15,000 keychain. So that's how they buy. I mean, there's enough to keep them. That's their system. So
yeah.
So we all met, and then we started walking around town. And I think the first one we saw was it maybe a 15,000?
I think so.
Yeah. So I think the 15,000. So what? You've seen this house, which was 57,000, and also has been like refurbished. So,
right.
What did you think of at 15,000?
This house and just places that we've stayed, like the Airbnbs we stayed on.
Oh yeah,
throughout Italy. So I'm like, everything's so open and spacious,
right.
And then
lighting.
There's a lot of ducking involved,
yes.
And everyone clearly has stairs, but sometimes you can't. Like you have to duck and like jump over stairs.
Yeah.
Everything's beautiful, but it's just more compact than everything is in the States. Like, if your backyards are too close together, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle that. No. Well, you would not do well here then.
Right. But and this makes sense too when I was saying earlier that I bought this house because it was everything's felt disjointed. Like, so now you see how because they usually are putting like two previous kind of apartment houses into one house, so it is disjointed.
I liken it to, not that I have any experience with it, but like the old New York or Brooklyn where like the grandparents lived on one floor and then the parents lived on the next floor. It's kind of like that in a lot of the homes. Everything's great though. I mean, they're all like such, like all the stone and stuff is really cool looking, and like, oh, look at that arch. There's just a lot of like different elements that make them all pretty cool. It's just different than what I'm used to, but they all are great.
Yeah, and I think too, our family's used to, we look at things for like, oh, that has good bones. Like, we can visualize.
Right.
And if you can't, then this is not for you.
Yeah.
Because there are turnkey properties, absolutely. And those probably €25,000 they start, I would say.
Yeah.
So 25 to 40 are turnkey properties that are beautiful. But under that is things that you have to look like. You see the concrete's perfectly fine, but the plaster over it's coming off.
Right.
Because of the moisture it's had and no one's lived in it for so long that you need to take it all off and replaster. So, and there's been some home, so that's why we started putting the home tours on TikTok and also on YouTube and Instagram, so that people can see what it's like. Because the MLS system does not exist here. We're used to being spoiled and, having great stage pictures, stage furniture. I mean,
there's no Zillow here.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. One, for great pictures. Two, they don't have a lot of the houses online. Like, none of the houses we saw are online, but they're all available. And
even like, I feel like even during the tours, I thought it was so not strange, but like, we're just learning their customs and how they do things. But she would just randomly knock on someone's door and be like, hey, can we come to a tour?
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah, right. Because their house is for sale. It's just like, are you okay with everyone? They're like, no, not today. Are you okay? And so, what is going on? And also, you kind of thought, were we going to like invite ourselves for coffee in this person's house?
Right.
But yeah, that one was the really big one was
with their son.
Yeah. Running around.
He was like, "What is happening?"
Right. And then he scurried to different rooms.
Right.
But yeah, so no. But the other thing is that they don't. When I say they don't stage it, I mean they're not even cleaning up their houses. So not only online you'll see pictures of like, why can't they put their towels away? Why are they all clean it up? We're going in houses that are not put together. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't ever show. I wouldn't have company in houses that are, but they've like been abandoned, and so
Right.
yeah, it's.
I mean, that one lady did start like, oh, moving things around.
Yes,
They were looking.
people that live in the house definitely
Right.
The abandoned ones not a
But yeah, there's not a lot of cleaning out happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not filthy unless it's an abandoned one. But
Right.
it's just like, well, this is the house. You're either gonna get it or you're not.
Yeah, but another day I had met a gal that was coming out here that reached out to me on social media. And so I said, oh, I'll tour with you that day. And she made the mistake of opening her refrigerator. And she's like, I can't get that smell out of mine. Like, so, you know, it's different. But you can get a gem. You can get a great vacation home, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tour. So I think we saw, what, 5 houses that day before
we couldn't
drove
do
off
it
to
anymore.
go.
I think she secretly was either testing our physical abilities
Right.
or trying to kill us. Not really sure. But there's a few hills that to
And then that
others
guy
they'd be like,
totally-
that was nothing.
That CrossFit guy was like running.
Yeah.
up,
He's just running. His wife's like, whatever.
And then the stairs. So when you see the difference now, when I say these are like normal American stairs, and then the other stairs, like
Yeah.
JoJo stairs.
No, there's like baby stairs, and then
Yeah.
there's what stairs you have that are normal. Yeah,
Yeah. Like
for sure.
yes.
And even then, I almost feel like I'm gonna fall.
Right. And we're like, oh, handrails. Like that's a.
And I know that was the. Ooh, they have handrails too. Ooh, they have handrails too. Yeah, no,
Like,
those
we
are.
saw the difference in price point. So
Yeah.
the €1 is, you know, appealing, and people come here. But then when you go there, you're like, I'm gonna have to put at least €10,000 in this. But then, okay, we'll see a €10,000 house that's got floors, and
Right.
got walls, and all this. Like, just do that. you
Well,
know?
that and you don't have the time limit. Like you
Right.
have so many years to like make sure that outside looks presentable and all
Right.
that stuff. And if you're gonna have to put that in before you even hit the front of the inside of the
Yes.
house, it's easier just to start even with a $5,000 home.
Right, because
And
you
then add to
want
it.
to start with the outside.
Yeah.
And start with the inside. And so, like you said, there is a time limit. It's 3 years. You buy a €1 home. It's 3 years that you have to put down or to replace, if needed, windows, doors, the exterior concrete stuff, and the roof. So if you have a good roof and you don't need to, you don't have to. But and then however long you want in the inside. So, but like we said, you don't want to start on the outside, you know.
Yeah.
So
The 1 year I think would be great for someone who like has the money to put a ton in to
And the
it,
time-
like
the time.
time
Like-
and that you have that vision and the money to you like I want to start from scratch.
Right.
That's the way to do it.
But they're also smaller. So
Mm-hmm.
for someone that's used to more square footage, if you're European, you're probably not used to that. Or maybe back east, like you said, New York, you're like,
Yeah.
you know, you're used to smaller spaces. But the rest of the United States is used to some, you know, moving room. And so those ones are small and they're not going to be for you. But there was one that we saw that day that was €25,000, and a gal had reached out and said, told me, oh, you know, I'm signing papers on this house, and I was like, really? And she was buying it sight unseen. And I said, well, give me the address, tell me what it was and how much you spent. And so she did, and the address was like, it was further out of town, and also, I think, was that one that I might...
That's the one that we tried to go down the street to look at a different house and we got
We
stuck.
could not get down the street.
Literally.
And I was like, no one's going to deliver a package to your house. Like, no.
Like we folded in the
Yeah,
side
the mirrors, and
Yeah.
then kept going after the
Yeah.
mirrors were folded in. And then I was like,
And
you
then-
know what? Can't go anymore
No.
because this is not happening.
Yeah.
And so I told her that, and I said, but you know what? I saw this really great one on a tour. So then the video's already been on, so you can see it on YouTube. I'll put that on the link to it if you want to see it. But I showed it to her, and I said, I think this one's better. And so, and plus I saw it and knew what was around and where she could park and what, you know, all that function. So we were there and we thought it was just so cute house. I wish I could like buy every house because I love them all.
That's the drawback of Laura going on the tours. Ooh, let's get this one.
No, I'm like, oh, you get this one. And so I sent her the video, and she ended up buying the house based on the video, which she was gonna buy a house based on 7 pictures. So the video tour is way better, and I touched and feel and all that stuff. And that's a nice house, so she's gonna really like that. There was a couple we saw that day that that one with that back patio, that back like decking.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, and that's turnkey also. So
Right.
we saw €1. We saw turnkey stuff. We've seen this big house. So there's a butt for anyone, and also, like you said, if you have time and money for contractors, or if you're handy,
Right.
Because we ran into that gentleman from the UK down the street, and so when you meet someone, you want like, let me see your house. Like, okay, let me see your house. So we do like house tours.
Yeah.
And he's from the UK. He comes and works for like 3 weeks on his own place, and then he goes back. And he likes the weather here a lot better, so he's like, it's dreary over there. So he's doing it over time, and he can stay here. Is it comfortable? Probably not right now. Is it getting there? Absolutely. Is it going to be amazing? Sure, it's going to be amazing. I mean, it was such a cute spot. It was really cute. And the parking and where it's at, you can walk to town. It was so adorable. And so, but he's doing the work himself. He'll probably call in a professional for a few things, but otherwise it's his own. So the tour was great because it gave you a variety of everything. And then so you do it in the morning, and then we left in the afternoon. So then they kept going in the afternoon. In the afternoon, she kind of says, okay, what did you like from this morning? How can I make it what you're interested in? And so from there, the people give the feedback, and then she'll show in the afternoon things more specific to you. Then also, if you haven't found anything that day, the next day she'll say, okay, what can I show you? And a lot of people either put the offer down while they're here over a week period or whatever, or when they get back home, then it can be emailed to you and all that. So the tour is the best way to go to find a house, I think. There are a lot of for sale by owner type of houses here. Because the rules and laws are so different, I would be very nervous. You can get an attorney to buy a house that way. But also, there's just having that agent is nice to have someone looking out for you. So in the comments, I'm gonna write the agent information and also a link to the video that I'm talking about the house that the gal bought, and you can also look at the playlist. There's house tours playlist, and that shows you. And I'll put a link to the playlist, but that shows you the different stages and different styles of houses you can get. And we're posting those about once a week just to help people see what's available, because again, the pictures and the tours don't, it just doesn't do. You have to be here, but then that's the next best thing. So, I don't know, what would you say?
Oh, absolutely. I remember you sent me like a website, like before you got engrossed into it and came out and toured and found your home. You had sent me a website, and I'm like, where are these and what? And then when they get here, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's like, everywhere you turn, there's a house for sale.
Yeah. Well, and one person sent me a listing and said, what do you think about this place? I don't know the price. Could you ask the agent? And I showed her, and she goes, that's just land. So the house in the background of the picture was not even on the price, it was just land. So, I mean, the listings are really, really difficult. So it's hard if you have to have someone here, have an agent here, but then also you have to be here for them to take you seriously, or just have someone helping you and doing it for you. So that's kind of what we're trying to do too, is show the videos and help people.
Yeah.
And all the videos that we've shown this far have been purchased. The houses have. So So next time I think we're going to talk about after you buy the house, the construction and how fun that part is. But yeah, so we'll talk about construction, and all right, see you next week.